coming off his big shutout Tuesday night against the Carolina Hurricanes. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome back to Winnipeg Sports Talk, Eric Comrie. Eric, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back on. It's been a little while. I mean, I feel like it's been too long.
It has been too long, and we're glad you had the time to jump on. And hey, what a great time to do it. I mean, I want to talk more about the season overall and how you and the fellas are feeling heading into this game tonight, and of course the break. But must have been nice to get that shutout. I mean, first of all, it's about winning, and your team has been doing a lot of it. But always nice to put up a goose egg, especially against a quality team like the Carolina Hurricanes.
I mean, definitely take the result. Definitely take the result. I always take a shutout no matter what the circumstances are. Doesn't matter who we're playing against. I always take the shutout. I mean, the guys just played so good that game. It was a big game. We've had a stretch here where that's our seventh game in a row we won. We're just playing unbelievable hockey right now, and it's just an absolute pleasure to play with these guys. And we're playing hard. We're playing the right way. I think Arniel has us just so dialed in what we have to be doing. I think it's special to watch right now.
Well, and listen, for you, I mean, you were due a night like that. I mean, you had a little bit of bad luck so far this season. I mean, what was that like for you? Kind of taking, I mean, listen, this team hasn't lost very many hockey games, and whether it was a couple tough back-to-backs or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like you were getting lit up or anything, but just on the few odd occasions where the team maybe didn't have the offensive pop we're used to, you happened to be in the net. But good to put that behind you.
Yes, it was definitely good. I mean, there was a couple. It was strange. It was like we're the highest scoring team in the league, and then also when we're scoring. But you know what? Throughout the whole process, I know Wade, myself, and Helly, we were going over my video, and we were all very happy with the way I was playing, and the process was right, and I was playing the game the way I was supposed to be playing it. I was doing all the little things right. Just unfortunately, sometimes you don't get results, and sometimes you get results in this game. You just have to stay the course. And I think I did a really good job of just making sure, like saying, hey, look at the video is right. The way I'm playing is right. The results will start coming here.
Now, I want to ask you about the team overall because, you came back, you knew these guys beforehand, but I mean, it is a little different right now than, previous incarnations of this team. And certainly, I mean, the team is on, the verge of doing something that no Jet team has done, winning the West, potentially a President's Trophy. And it just seems like all along you guys are having so much fun together night in and night out. And there's nothing more fun being a professional athlete than winning. But how would you describe just the way this team has come together and what you've been able to do through 55 games so far?
I mean, it's been special. I mean, I think Arnie just has us real dialed in. I think start of the year we did some team building stuff, and I think we just kept growing from there and growing and just getting closer and closer. And I think we just understood that, like, we put together a couple of things we wanted to do this year, like whether it was compete the hard areas, 10% more, just little things like that, just little cues of that. And I think everyone's really bought into it. I think we're battling hard every single night, and we're holding each other accountable. But we're having fun. I mean, we're all playing and it's true. I think we truly are. We have a lot of good friends on the team. We're all very, very close people. We get along very well. And it pays off. I mean, we have fun every time we go to the rink. We laugh, we joke, it's a good group of guys to be around. And I have so much fun every single day to go to the rink. I mean, I look forward to it. I mean, Arnie always bugs me that I spend too much time at the rink. He's always like, "Go home, Combs, get home. You have a wife and a daughter. Go home." And I'm like, I'm just having so much fun here. It's hard to leave.
Oh man, I think that's the dream of every coach in the National Hockey League. How important is that to overall team success? And how would that maybe, in your mind, help you guys not get into some funks or, able to, if you lose a game or two, be able to, stop it in its tracks and get back to doing what you've been doing most of the time this year, and that's winning?
Well, I think having good players definitely helps that. And we have some good players on this team, so that definitely helps. I mean, honestly, we play – and we understand our identity we're a defense-first team. We play very solid defense. I think Arnie and our coaching staff have done a really good job at making sure that we understand, like, hey, defense is our bread and butter. We've got to stick to that and make sure we play as good as defense as we can. And our chances will come because we have very highly skilled offensive players that know how to put the puck in the net. So it's going to happen. So I mean, if we just contribute and play good defense, we're going to get our chances, and we're going to probably bury our chances. That's what makes it so good. And it also helps to have Connor Hellebuyck in the net a lot too, because he's pretty good. If you guys haven't noticed yet.
We'll get to your goaltending partner in a minute, but it is sort of amazing. I mean, you speak about a team that their identity is based on, solid defense and limiting chances. And then you pull up the stats, and there's no team that scored more goals in the National Hockey League. And it kind of seems like the greater attention to detail and commitment to that, Eric, has allowed this team to be even more potent offensively.
It's like that one commercial. Our defense leads to offense, and our offense leads to defense. You know, you remember that old commercial back in the day. Yeah. So it's kind of, I mean, it's a cliche, but it's true. I mean, when you have good defense, it will lead to your offense, and I think we frustrate teams, and then teams start taking chances, and we capitalize on the chances that we create because of our good defense. And it's I mean, it's a pleasure to watch, and it's also a lot of fun to be a goalie on this team. I'll tell you that.
Well, speaking of goalies, you mentioned your goaltending partner, Connor Hellebuyck. He is doing some really special things. What's it like going to work every day and being part of that twosome in the net with Hellebuyck, and maybe just thoughts on how he's raised his game, if it was possible, another level this year?
I mean, it's unbelievable to watch. I mean, like I always said, the biggest compliment I can give Helly is that every single goal that goes in seems like he can stop it. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible, because it never looks like he's out of position. Every single time it's like, oh, he could have probably been there and stopped that one. I'm like, yeah, because 99% of the goalies would have played it differently, have been all over and spread out. He's always in the right position. He's always in the right place. He reads the game so well. He gives himself the best opportunity to make the save night in and night out. And I think that's a special thing for a goalie, because a lot of people don't have that. And yes, they'll get lucky every once in a while and have a great game or make a great save. Helly sets himself up for success every single time, because he's always in the right spot, always in the right position. And it's an absolute joy to watch. I mean, it's like watching a goalie how-to video every single night for me. So it definitely helps us. I mean, it's awesome. It's unbelievable.
How would you describe your guys' relationship? I mean, just from speaking with you, I mean, I love listening to Connor. He's one of the more interesting guys, I think, in the league to speak to, because he pretty much always tells you what you're thinking. I mean, you're a treat to talk to, because I mean, you're always have something to say. But Phil, take us behind the scenes. I mean, the relationship between the two of you, and how you work with Wade Flaherty, who I'm sure you would agree has been a big part of both of your successes.
Flats is Wade Flaherty. I call him Flats. So if I refer to him as Flats, that's what I'll refer to him as from now on in the interview, just so that everyone knows. Flats is awesome. He's the best. I mean, I think he's one of the best goalie coaches, if not the best in the world. He's unbelievable, understanding the position so well. And I think having him, myself, and Helly, we go over video as all three of us together. It's not just one or two guys. It's always all three of us together. We're going over it. We're sitting down every single day, going over the video, going over the stuff. I mean, and we have just a great relationship together. We go for dinners every once in a while. Helly and I go to dinner a lot. We are really close. We're really good friends. I mean, we talk a lot about each other. Our wives are friends. One day our kids will be friends, because I know my daughter's a little young to be friends with his kids. So, but one day they'll be friends, and it's awesome. And we have such a good relationship. We're always together. We're always with each other, and it's great.
Success sort of breeds success. And I mean, the start of the year, 15-1, historic start to the season. Yeah. But again, you hadn't been here last year, and you came and rejoined the team in the offseason after that really disappointing loss for the Jets to the Avalanche. And, we heard from a number of players. I mean, there were some, tough conversations, some very honest conversations at the end of this year. And they came back and kind of owned what happened last year and looked to be better in every aspect. As someone that wasn't with the team, how would you say the teammates in the group overall has sort of, faced down the failures in the past, and how has that made this team better and as consistently good as they've been this year?
It's a tough question, because I can tell the team guys definitely have some stuff inside of them. They're working so hard, and they're getting out of it, and they're playing so hard because they had that little chip on their shoulder from last year in the playoffs. But we try not to speak about it at all. We don't really talk about it. I mean, we have a new coaching staff. It wasn't the same coaching staff we had last year. We have a lot of different new faces. The team's a lot of the same guys, but they understand, like, hey, that's last year. We have a little chip on our shoulder. We can play through it, but hey, we're on to a new year. This is a new team. It's all about now. It's not about last year. It's about what we're doing now. And I think everyone's done a really good job of buying into that and just being fully present in the moment that we are in.
Now, I have to ask you this, and you'll have a very interesting perspective, because being a goaltender, you're not really a part of it. But, I mean, if you looked at the difference from last season to this season, I mean, what the power play has become a nuclear weapon. I mean, Your team right now has a 5% gap over the number 2 team. And if this was to continue, would have the best power play in the history of the National Hockey League. I mean, that is how good that it's been. What's it been like watching that from the bench? And just thoughts on the changes that have been made, the success you're having, and how that can help this team moving forward, and especially in the postseason.
So my joke is always on the bench. As soon as we get a power play in a 0-0 game, I say, 1-0. And if it's 1-0, I say, 2-0 if we get another one. So my joke is like it's pretty much inevitable we're going to score, and it's just when we're going to score in the power play, not how. It's when and how, not if. And it's unbelievable. I mean, and that goes a credit to those guys. I mean, they work really hard. And honestly, Painter, our PP coach, I gotta give him a lot of credit to him. He's a very, very detailed, very much about the process of the power play. Does an unbelievable job of getting those guys ready every single night. I mean, those guys' PP meetings must last what feels like 20, 30 minutes because they're going over so much stuff, and it's working really well for them. It's unbelievable to see. Painter's been really, really good for that group. Davis Payne, he's been unbelievable as a coach, and I think that's helped them a lot. But I think the players have really bought into it and are working hard to get in. I mean, yes, once again, we also have a lot of talent on that power play. I mean, Josh Morrissey, Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Velarde, Nikolai Ehlers. That's pretty good. And then our second power play, and it's not too bad either. They've been hot lately too.
Well, and you know, it was funny. We were talking about it before the game on Tuesday, and John Shannon was on, and he was mentioning, hey, don't forget about that second power play unit. And sure enough, they scored.
Bang, bang.
And you know what? And the other side of that though is the PK. And I think about guys that are kind of more unsung. I mean, certainly Nino Niederreiter, being on that second power play unit, but a guy like Alex Iafallo and what he's contributing, whether he's on the first line, whether he's on the fourth line, out in the PK. I mean, that is the one thing about this team. While it's easy to get mesmerized by the numbers that Hellebuyck's putting forward, or Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele being in the top 5 in goal scoring, I mean, especially right now without your captain, Adam Lowry, Eric, it seems like everyone is finding their opportunity to contribute and make a difference night in and night out.
No, it's unbelievable. I truly think it's unbelievable. But I think it's just the buy-in we have. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares where they're on that lineup sheet. Nobody cares where they're slated into. They just go out there and they play the way that we want to play. They play Jet hockey, the way that Arnie's laid it out for them. And I think it's unbelievable that just the amount of buy-in and commitment to the game we have. And it's I mean, once again, it's just up and down that lineup. And it's just a bunch of guys. We're just having fun going out there and just working as hard as we can, competing as hard as we can. We don't care where we are on the lineup sheet. We don't care about that stuff. We just want to win hockey games together and have fun doing it.
You know what? You mentioned Scott Arniel as well. I'm interested in just your perspective on what you've learned about Scott as a coach and kind of what he's brought to the group to help move this thing forward and take that next step.
I mean, he's been awesome. I mean, we had a gala last night, and someone said his winning percentage since taking over for Bones. I mean, they included a couple of games last year. I didn't have Bones at all, but Arnie's been unbelievable, and his winning percentage has been amazing. It's unbelievable to see. I mean, I don't even know what it is, like 0.7 something. It's crazy right now, and he's been unbelievable. I think he just gets his buying in and playing unbelievable defense, and just really understands like what pushes our buttons. And it's been an absolute pleasure to play for him. He's a great guy, but he keeps us accountable, keeps us honest. But he knows when and how to do it. And it's been a lot of fun this year. I think he's been great for us.
There's an element of, from Arniel that I think, in a lot of ways is emblematic of the team. Like a level of pride in doing what you're doing every day, enjoying the success, but also a real humility as well, that there's still so much work left to be done, and a commitment to continue doing it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he lives in the city. He lives and breathes the city. He loves it here. He loves Winnipeg. Loves being a part of the Jets. And once again, we're just a bunch of guys. We're humble. We understand what we want to do. We are very goal committed, and we're doing it together as a team. It's not about one guy. I mean, whether it's Hellebuyck, who's having an unbelievable year, or Kyle Connor's an unbelievable year, Mark Scheifele's having an unbelievable year. Like you said, it's just 20, 23, 24 guys going out there every single night and just doing the best they can for the Winnipeg Jets. And you don't get that a lot. A lot of teams are a lot more selfish. They want to worry about what they're doing, what their guys are doing. But this team is really bought in, and it's a pleasure to be with.
Eric Comrie, the Winnipeg Jets, with us here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Eric, let me ask you this. There was the annual athletic players poll that came out yesterday, and they ask what team is on your no trade list, and Winnipeg is like 48%, number one in the league. What are those 48% of NHL players missing about being a Winnipeg Jet and playing in the city of Winnipeg? Because we know you've come back more than once.
Well, I mean, just come talk to me. I mean, I come back all the time. I love being back in Winnipeg. It's my first team on my trade list that I want to go to. No, but like, you look at that poll, and I mean, I know a big one is the Canadian teams. All the Canadian teams are always on there, and that's just purely a tax reason. So you got to remember that's going to be a big portion of the people that say no right there, just taxes. A lot of people don't want to live in Canada for that reason. You look at New York, the same thing. A lot of people don't want New York or California just because of that same exact reason. And I don't know. I guess I've lived in I guess people don't like the weather here. I lived in places where it's rainy and gloomy every single day and you don't see the sun. I love Winnipeg weather in the winter. I see the sun every single day and it makes me happy every single day I wake up. And I don't understand why people, oh, Winnipeg, the weather's so bad. I think the weather's great here. I see the sun pretty much all day, all winter long, and it's amazing. When I was in Buffalo, I never saw the sun. When you're in Vancouver, you never see the sun. When you're in Seattle, you never see the sun. I think that's the biggest thing that keeps you happy is the sun. And not only that, but I think we also have a great organization that you want to come to. I mean, we have a bunch of guys in that room that have a lot of fun, and everyone that comes here ends up loving it. I mean, look at DeMello, came from Ottawa and San Jose, loves it. Dylan loved it here. All these guys just come here and just absolutely love Winnipeg. They love the organization. They always want to be back, and it's something to be said about being in a family, in a tight-knit room, and people that really care about you. And I think Mark Shipman, the owner, it starts with him. He's unbelievable how much he cares about us and cares as the players. He wants to be better, whether he's doing the extra thing to make sure our locker room is perfect, make sure everything's right in the meals. Our meals are unbelievable, making sure that he takes care of us the best he can. It's unbelievable to be a part of it. After every game, he's in there giving us handshakes, saying, hey, I just appreciate you guys. I love the work you're doing. And he really lives and breathes this city, and he lives and breathes the Jets. Like, it's awesome to be a part of. He cares so much about us. And I wish guys would see how much people in the city love the team and how much Mark Shipman loves this team, because he does everything possible to make the best we can. And we have such a great experience here. I mean, I love it here.
You know, it's funny. I mean, all of that is a great place to start. And I don't think anything can replace having a chance to win a Stanley Cup and being on a winning team. And that's another thing that you and your teammates, I think, are doing. And it speaks for itself. I mean, you mentioned...
I didn't even mention that part because it's just because I was looking at it more of like a year run, like forever thing. Because I mean, teams go up and down throughout the years, and it's unbelievable how Kevin Chevedale does an amazing job of making sure this team's always good. It's unbelievable. We always have great players. It gets the pieces in here. And it's been awesome. It's been so much fun. This is a really good hockey team.
It speaks for itself with Scheifele and Hellebuyck and Niederreiter and DeMello. I mean, guys that would have significant options deciding to stay here going forward. And
they come here, they see how great it is. They see how well we get treated. They see all the things we do. They see the fans. They see the passion around the city. It's a hard place to say no to once you get here. And it's been awesome. I love it here. I mean, I always come back here eventually.
Hey, how big, I mean, at least you guys have played a lot of hockey. It's been intense. You've done a great job so far. How, with the exception of the three guys that have the opportunity to play for their country, how much are you looking forward to the break, and how much do you think this might benefit the team when you get back on and get ready for 26 more games of the regular season and hopefully a number of rounds in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I'm no general manager of the team, but I think we should have a couple more guys in that tournament too. But that's not my job.
You're not the only one.
It's not my job to say or not, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that one. But I just putting it out there. No, I mean it's gonna be a good little time off. I think we're gonna have a good break. For myself, it's gonna be back home in California. We're gonna get a little bit of golfing, relaxing a little bit, and get back into it. I mean, I'm gonna make sure I stay in shape, stay working out, and get on the ice as much as I can. And we'll definitely be back and have skating a lot, but I'm going to work on the golf game. We'll see how rusty it is. Hopefully it's not too bad. I got some big game set up, so hopefully it's not too bad.
I mean, I guess there's part of you think that, man, of all the times for a break when you're on a 7-game heater in first place, maybe you could push it back a little bit, but it will be. Are you going to be, I'm sure you'll be watching the Four Nations.
Oh, I'm super excited to watch. I don't know who to cheer for yet, though.
It's
I don't know
tough,
who to cheer
I'm
for.
sure.
I was trying to figure out who to cheer for because I'm like, I am Canadian. I want to cheer for Canada, but I'm also a little bit mad at Canada. So at the couple people they didn't take, so I don't know. So I'm like, well, can I cheer for Helly then? But then I'm cheering against Josh. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I think you're. There's a lot of Jet fans that are in a similar spot as that with you. Eric.
Who are you going to cheer for?
Well, I'm going to cheer for Canada. I've got the Royal Sports is getting my Morrissey jersey done up. I'm going to be there in Boston for the game on the Monday and hope the final as well. So
you're cheering against two Jets. You're cheering for one Jet against two Jets.
I will be. I figured the passport has to count first and everything. However,
okay.
I will say this. If for some reason it is not Canada, USA in the final and Canada's not there, I will have a USA 37 to put on to make sure that I'm supporting
37/81
our guy. Exactly. I mean, we'll get 81s on the sides or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. And listen, just as a hockey fan, I mean, we've wanted to see the best Canadians go up against the best Americans. Never mind the Swedes and the Finns for a long time, and I think it'll be it'll be very fun. People are going to be really into it, and then, of course, the Olympics next year. But we'll worry about that later. We got a big playoff run to come to. Sorry?
What roster is better, Canada or USA?
Well, it's funny. I would say I think I might give the nod to Canada. However, I think there's a massive advantage in net for the United States, and you know how important goaltending is. So
so we'll see, especially in one game.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, that's where we hope that it ends up with those teams going at it for the Four Nations, and then everyone coming back fired up, getting ready to go for the rest of the regular season and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Eric, listen, before I go, I have to ask you, what do you think about the big game on Sunday? Chiefs, Eagles, Mahomes going for history, the three-peat, Philly trying to get them back after losing 2 years ago.
Can't give Andy Reid and that defense coordinator there, Spagnuolo, 2 weeks to prepare and not light their odds.
That's the right answer.
you cannot light their odds. I mean, Andy Reid and Spagnuolo, 2 weeks to prepare. I mean, it's a little unfair in my opinion. I don't think you can compete with that. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the Chiefs, and I know there's a lot of people pulling for the Eagles, but Mahomes truly is.
I saw the map of the USA, and it said, I don't think anyone's cheering for anyone to win. I think they just want both teams to lose.
Big support for the Chiefs in Missouri, and that's about it.
That's about it. And then the Eagles have a little bit of Pennsylvania, too, and that's about it as well.
Yeah, they're not particularly popular outside their home area as well at normal times.
Philly fans are very passionate. Let's put it that way.
Hey, I have to ask you, how did the fantasy season end up for you and the fellas in the room?
So, unfortunately, I wasn't with the team for the fantasy football, so I wasn't on their football team. But I did win my keeper league. I smashed it this year, won it big time. Actually, Shifley, I have a guillotine league that we're in, and Shifley and J-Mo are in it. Shifley won that one this year, and that's actually the most fun league I've ever been in part of my life. Where it's like each week you don't actually play head to head. You just draft, and then whoever's in last place gets eliminated, and their guys go to auction. You can bid on them. So Shifley ended up winning it, and he might be the best fantasy football guy I've ever seen in my life. If you want a guy that knows fantasy football, Mark Shifley knows fantasy football. He did not win the Jets thing this year, but he won it 2 years ago when he finished with the most points again this year. Won the Guillotine League. He was in our Guillotine League. He went third, second, first now. So in his 3 years of playing it, he knows fantasy football. It's a little bit, I don't know how he knows fantasy football. Doesn't have any social media, nothing. This guy just knows.
He's putting in the work. You know that he's going back home, much like he does with his hockey game.
I don't even think he has a phone. I think he's going back to the old newspaper days and reading stat lines that way.
He's got some stringers. Maybe he has a staff that he's put together. You never know.
He might have an analytics staff. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a whole analytics. Actually, funny story about that actually is our Buffalo Sabres fantasy, our old fantasy Buffalo Sabres guys, Rasmus Dahlin's brother is an analytics person and he was a computer engineer analytics person. And he would always run Rasmus Dahlin's fantasy team for him. And he would always win it every year by huge margin. And they finally said, hey, you got to stop using your brother and you got to do it yourself. Sure enough, he didn't use his brother, finished dead last in the league. So there you go. For all your analytic people out there, it helps.
Oh, man. Eric, it's such a pleasure having you on the program as always and catching up. Thanks again for doing this. I have to ask just on the way, how's dad life? You got your hands full right now. How is
Yeah,
the
it's been
family and
great.
your daughter?
She's sitting right over there. You can probably hear her a little bit here and there. She's with my wife, and my wife's gonna give birth to another one pretty soon here in April. April 7th is the due date for our baby boy. So I'm gonna have a daughter and a baby boy, 2 German shepherds, and a wife. So at least you know what? I'm getting the numbers back even. Right now it's 3 girls to 2 boys in the house. We're gonna be 3 and 3 pretty soon. So I'm excited to get back to even.
Hey, congratulations on that. That is amazing. And listen, you and the team will have a little baby swag heading into the playoffs. That's always a good thing.
I know. I'm excited for it. I mean, it's always a little nerve-wracking because now we're playing man-on-man, no longer zone coverage. So we'll see how that goes.
Eric, you're the best, buddy. Congratulations again on the great season so far. The shutout on Tuesday. Have a great break, and best of luck to you and your teammates throughout the rest of the season and into April and beyond.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let me know whenever you want me back. I'm one of these days can get my own podcast going. I might have you on there.
Hey, listen, done deal. The invitation's always open. Thanks again, buddy.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much.